Good evening and welcome to KMTV. I'm Ben Kennedy. Your top stories tonight. Perverted chiropractor jailed. Suspected hit and run in Sheerness. And Disco Boy sets sights on chart success. But first this evening, 3 brothers have been convicted of murder after killing a vulnerable woman by performing wrestling moves on her. Scott, Adam and Joshua Knight subjected Delith Andrews to hours of torture in her own home. Josie Hannett was at Canterbury Crown Court.
You've described lifting Dale onto...
Your shoulder.
Okay.
Like saying like across here, onto your shoulder, whole body, and then just gone whop.
Blimey, where was
onto her
that?
bed.
Onto her bed, right.
Yeah, because if the police officers are seen on her bed, that some of her wooden slates have broken.
Scott Knight shows little remorse as he talks about one of the wrestling moves he performed which killed Delith Andrews. After taking legal highs, Scott, Adam and Joshua Knight subjected Delith to hours of abuse in her own home. The Knight brothers tortured Delith for up to 7 hours, where they each took it in turns to perform wrestling moves on her. They pummeled her repeatedly to the point where she told them she was struggling to breathe, but they carried on. The attack was so horrific, the bed was broken, she suffered a broken back and a broken pelvis, and ultimately other serious injuries which caused her death. The brothers from Thanet today have been found guilty of murder and sentenced to life behind bars. 54-year-old Delith, who was bipolar, became a prisoner in her own home, dying just weeks later in hospital following the attack. Here, her smash bed shows the force used to injure her, where she lay with broken ribs and her body covered in bruises.
This was a sustained and prolonged and a horrific attack on a very vulnerable female in her own home. On someone that had just offered them something that had been missing from their lives, some security and some stability, and they systematically abused her over an extended period of time. And having taken all of her property, they then took her life.
The trio have been sentenced to a minimum of 23 years, but have been told they may never see life again outside of prison. Josie Hannett for KMTV.
A perverted chiropractor who molested female patients and filmed them in various states of undress on a hidden camera has been jailed for 4.5 years. Here's our report. He abused the patients who trusted him, all for his own sexual gratification. Today, chiropractor Christopher Foley was jailed, signifying the final nail in the coffin of his reputation. Well, 67-year-old Foley worked here at what used to be Pembury Chiropractic Clinic. Pembury is just a picturesque little village on the outskirts of Tunbridge Wells. While he worked here, he secretly filmed women getting changed as they saw him for an appointment, and also sexually assaulted several of his female patients. The jury saw 17 videos in total in relation to how he carried out his sordid acts, for which he has received a jail sentence of 4.5 years. This is one of the videos presented to the jury. It shows him setting up a covert camera to film his encounters with patients. The offences involved 14 women over a 3-year period and only came to light when one patient spotted the camera's red light, realising then that she had been caught undressing on film. He has also admitted possessing 51 extreme pornographic film clips involving animals. One of the lead detectives in Foley's case hoped the sentence satisfied the victims.
Yeah, we're very pleased with the sentence that's been passed by the court today. We think that it truly reflects the level of gravity that of the offences that Christopher Foley has committed. It's been it's required a detailed investigation to identify the victims of Christopher Foley's actions. Hoping that it brings some closure to the victims and they are pleased with the sentence that's been passed by the court today.
The trial judge, St John Stevens, told Foley,
"The nature of your criminal conduct is plainly abhorrent. There has been a substantial effect on your victims, which was life-changing to a degree. It is clear you are a good chiropractor. You have lost that career, lost your home, family and wife. The court has witnessed the impact of your crimes. There is deep and profound anguish in the minds of your victims. Words may not do justice to them."
Foley will now be on the sex offenders register for the rest of his life. The same length of time, perhaps, that these gross intrusions will remain with his many victims. This is Ben Kennedy for KMTV. A man is being treated for serious head injuries in hospital after being knocked over in a suspected hit and run. Some of you may find these next images disturbing. Police are appealing for witnesses after a Stephen Friday was knocked down by a black 4x4, which then failed to stop. He was returning to his nearby home and was hit and thrown onto the bonnet of the car. Ambulance crews were called to St Helens Road in Sheerness just before 7 yesterday evening. There's also speculation some motorists drove around Stephen as he lay in the street. And finally, most of us have heard of Marshall Mathers, Eminem, if you're not sure. But there's a new Marshall from Kent who wants to break into the charts. Lee Marshall, better known as prankster Disco Boy, has staged supermarket raves and entertained drivers stuck in Operation Stack. But now he wants a taste of stardom in a different sort of way, as he's released a new single. Marshall from Herne Bay has shot his music video for Monkey Move with an entourage of costumed animals. The single's already available on iTunes and he says all profits will go to charity. The 31-year-old says he's not taking the potential topper too seriously though.
It's a bit of fun at the end of the day. If you don't try these things, you'll never know. And it's just a project, like something on my tick list that I always wanted to do. And you never know where it can go. You know, obviously I've got the Facebook fan page. If like 5,000 people bought it, it would go in the charts, which would be crazy for a charity single. And that's the main thing. I'm doing it for like a charity single as well. You never know where it's going to end up.
Well, that's all from us for tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow, again with all the latest stories from across your county. In the meantime, don't forget to visit kentonline.co.uk or tune in to KMFM. But from all of us here, have a great evening. Good night.